Well, just got done seeing Batman vs. Superman. Oh, well, let's start out with the good things first. That will take a lot shorter time to cover. Let's see. Definitely my favorite portrayal of Bruce Wayne in a live action film, which I definitely didn't think I'd be saying. Probably people are going to continue to blame Ben Affleck for this movie as they do with Daredevil, but neither times do I think it was really his fault, especially not this time around. I thought he did pretty great, actually. Not my favorite Batman, but still, he was good. He was not the problem. You already know what I think of this portrayal of Superman. I also don't blame the actor for it, but I just hate it. A really good portrayal of Alfred. Different in a lot of ways than Michael Caine's portrayal in Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. I wouldn't really say either was better or worse. I like them both for different reasons. Now, on to the atrocity that is this film. I'll warn you. There'll be spoilers. I'm way too passionate about this to filter anything right now. First off, let's just dispel the rumor that this has anything to do with Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. That novel is fantastic, and to even say this is loosely based on that is doing it a huge disservice. This is not based on any part of it, except for maybe an influence in Zack Snyder's crazy little head that he somehow thinks his story is as good as The Dark Knight Returns. And if so, he is delusional, because this was abysmal. How do you have a movie with Batman in it and take nearly 2 hours to actually see Batman? What the heck? I want to see Batman, and I want to see him wrecking face. Do we get that? No. I didn't even stay for the whole thing because it was driving me insane. In the hour and 45 minutes that I stayed, nothing happened. Nothing. You could have slept the entire hour and a half. Woke up, saw the last 15 minutes that I watched, and been completely caught up on everything that had just happened in this movie. Anything that mattered, you would have known about it. Because so many things were not even connected to the plot of the movie, which was almost non-existent anyway. The reason for Batman and Superman fighting in this was stupid and incredibly ill-conceived. Nothing like The Dark Knight Returns graphic novel, which is fantastic. Instead of seeing this movie, you should just go read that. A lot better use of your time. I don't even know where to begin. I've never walked out of a theater actually feeling defeated. I did that. I felt like that walking out of the theater this time. It was atrocious. There's just, I don't think there's a better way to describe it. It felt bad. Now, okay. Yeah, and Lex Luthor. We can't forget Lex Luthor. Overall, horrible horrible portrayal. I can't even speak right now. Too much emotions. Of Lex Luthor. Once again, I don't blame the actor. I think Eisenberg did probably exactly what he was told. And what he was told was just stupid. There were times where it was good, but a majority of the time it annoyed me, which actually describes basically the entire film. At least the nearly 2 hours of it that I was able to actually stand. When it was on, it would be on, and it was good, but then when it was not on, it was completely on the other side of the scale of just being magnificently bad. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why? Why? DC cannot make an even remotely good movie. Like, not counting the Nolan films, DC movies just stink. And I don't understand. It pains me so bad. I want these movies to be good. As many of you know, I'm a die-hard DC fan, and am very vocal about how much more I enjoy the stories than I always have. I don't hate Marvel. Their stories are good. I read a number of Marvel comics, but I've always liked DC better, specifically Batman. And no one can get these stories correctly. I just don't get it. Nolan did a good job. He created his own take on a comic book film that in a lot of ways doesn't really feel comic book-like, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I would just like something more akin to the Marvel films, where you have a good movie that also feels like a comic book movie. Like Winter Soldier, for instance. That should be the model that everyone else uses for making comic book movies. Not that I want everything to be exactly like that, obviously not, but the way that that's structured, it's done so magnificently that there's not a whole lot of things that you have to look past in order for that movie to be good. Of course, there's the normal suspension of disbelief that you have going into any movie, but beyond that, there wasn't really tons. There wasn't all these obvious plot holes, all this just story that made no sense. Like, stuff in that movie, it works. It's so much better than what they're doing with these DC movies. And I have to say, some people might not like me saying this, but I don't think Suicide Squad's going to be any better. You know why? Snyder's name is attached to it. And he has proven to be abysmal at making these DC comic book movies. They've so far gotten worse. I didn't think I could like something less than Man of Steel, especially since it had Batman in it. Although that might be why I liked it less, is because it's a bad movie with Batman, and I want Batman to be in good movies. But whatever the case may be, this movie, for me, was even worse than Man of Steel. And you know how much I disliked Man of Steel. That's just how incredibly bad I thought this movie was. And yeah, sorry to say it, Suicide Squad doesn't have me excited, especially after seeing this. They need to get rid of Snyder if they want to have any chance of something good being done with these movies. Now, I obviously don't place all the blame on him, because there's got to be other higher ups that are making decisions as well, and they're also idiots. Whoever has anything to do with these movies, they are stupid. And I've also decided that I know why Christopher Nolan is attached to these movies. See, what he did is it started out as sabotage. It's like, I don't want anyone else to make better Batman movies than I made, so I'll go on this set just to sabotage it and make it bad. Then once he got there, he saw how horrible it already was, and he's like, sweet, my job's done. I don't even have to do anything. Just sits back in his producer's chair, makes money for doing nothing, while Schneider digs his own grave by making horrible films. I have to say, Nolan, genius. Genius plan. I approve. As much as I hate to see Batman in bad movies, I understand why you do that. I get it. And so far, you've got nothing to worry about. Your movies will always be way higher on any sane person's list than anything that Schneider creates. And I think I've rambled on enough. Point is, my advice is, don't waste your money. Unless you're a die-hard Batman fan like me and you just have to see it, no matter how bad, because it's Batman. Otherwise, I'd say wait until you can pay a lot less to see this movie, like the Dollar Theater or even Redbox. Because, man, if you are a comic book fan at all, seeing this film will cause you pain. I mean, not just emotional pain, it hurts. As a Batman fan and a Superman fan, seeing a movie about both of them be so incredibly horrible. So anyway, what I would tell you is, if you want to go to the movies this week and you're into crazy thriller suspense types, go see 10 Cloverfield Lane, a much better directed and written film with some good acting. Not that the acting in this, as I said, was necessarily bad, but in a lot of moments it feels bad because of the story surrounding it. Anyway, that's my rant for today. We will hopefully be back with a regular Nerdosophical podcast soon, so that you can stop being forced to hearing just me ramble on incessantly about things. Anyway, we'll catch you later.